2006, when this happened, I was 32 years old and was employed by Vodafone New Zealand as General Manager of Marketing. I had been in an on and off relationship with Tony between 2002 and 2006. My physical injuries included bruising and the fracture of my spine in 2 places. I experienced intense pain at the time of the assault and endured extreme discomfort for months afterwards. It was necessary to use a wheelchair and crutches for several weeks so I could manage the discomfort and remain somewhat mobile. The damage to my back has resulted in muscle atrophy and loss, and that has caused a physical disfigurement. The disfigurement was so apparent that when I got married in 2007, it was necessary for my dressmaker to pad out my dress. The muscle loss also resulted in nerve damage, which has affected my central nervous system, my balance and my coordination. I have since undergone extensive physiotherapy, and this is ongoing today. I have been unable to return to my favourite sports. Being unable to exercise due to my injuries and not being able to continue working contributed to me becoming depressed, and as a direct result of my injuries and the way in which they occurred, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. The injury caused me to stand down from my career in order to concentrate on rehabilitation because of the physical and psychological consequences of the assault. I was highly motivated to regain my health. My rehabilitation included regular physio, acupuncture, personal training and counselling, largely at my own expense. Other than for physio and counselling, I made no claim to ACC. Tony has reimbursed me for the substantial financial losses incurred at this time, which is set out in the civil litigation documents dated 22 December 2007. The events of 29 January 2006 and thereafter are particularly traumatic for me. In March 2006, I was hospitalised after a nervous system breakdown, and I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. I became particularly anxious when dealing with discussion about Tony and what he did. It has been necessary to undertake counselling to help me cope. As recently as a few weeks ago, I was diagnosed as still having PTSD symptoms. I have recurrent distressing recollections of what happened and have thoughts and recurrent dreams in which I relive the experience. I get intensely distressed when exposed to situations or things that symbolise or resemble an aspect of what happened to me. Tony made me feel to blame, helpless, isolated, threatened and ashamed. I felt at the time my life was at risk. I have worked incredibly hard to begin to heal emotionally and had made huge improvements until July 2008. Since July 2008, my family and I have been harassed and hunted by some journalists. On a weekly basis, my private and professional life has been turned upside down. I have experienced an enormous amount of stress due to relentless media and public interest in what happened, and this has caused my family and I anguish. At times, it has felt like there has been no end to the spreading of malicious lies, rumours and falsehoods. These falsehoods have caused me reputational damage and have oftentimes humiliated me. This situation has made it difficult for me to regain employment. The falsehoods have also left me at the judgment of some New Zealanders and the subject of repeated radio and internet discussion and gossip, which has been very distressing. I have not slept adequately since 29 January 2006 and I've become exhausted easily. This exhaustion affects me deeply and limits how much I can achieve each day. The ongoing impact of my injuries and the stress of the last 9 months has delayed the ability of my husband and I to start our own family. The injuries and stress have aged me prematurely and affected, it seems, every part of me and my life.